In 2007, he was a little boy with a cheap camera and a YouTube channel, singing in his living room. By 2012, he was the biggest pop star on the planet, with a net worth skyrocketing towards $100 million. But what happens when that golden ticket to fame is actually a one-way ticket to a very public, very expensive meltdown? This isn't just a story about scandals. It's a deep dive into the psychological and financial cost of childhood fame. This is the story of how Justin Bieber's meltdown nearly cost him everything. The story begins like a fairy tale. A talented kid from a small town in Canada, discovered on YouTube by Scooter Braun, signs a deal with his idol Usher, and the machine ignites. His hit single Baby explodes. Bieber fever infects the globe, and the purple hoodie becomes an icon. For a moment, it was perfect. But behind the scenes, a price was already being paid. This wasn't a boy living a dream. This was a product being manufactured, and every part of his life was for sale. The pressure was immense. Every awkward moment of puberty, from his voice cracking to his first kiss, was turned into content for talk shows like Ellen. His personal boundaries became a running joke. The human cost? His innocence was being systematically stripped away. The financial cost? Every ounce of his humiliation was being monetized. Not for him, but for the networks and tabloids. He was a cash cow, and the industry was just getting started. Even his relationships became marketable headlines. Selena Gomez breakups splashed across tabloids, generating millions for magazines, but zero for Justin's dignity. Already, the machine was profiting while the boy was paying the price. The years between 2013 and 2015 were a blur of flashing lights and police sirens. But what the world saw as reckless behavior and arrogance was actually the public face of a deep internal crisis. Years later, Justin himself would reveal what was really going on. He was fighting invisible illnesses that caused extreme fatigue and depression. The pressure became unbearable, and the outbursts that followed were not only destructive, but incredibly costly. It started with the infamous DUI in a rented yellow Lamborghini, resulting in thousands in legal fees. Then came the bizarre egging incident in Calabasas, which escalated to a felony investigation and an order to pay his neighbor a staggering $80,000 in damages. This was followed by a string of public embarrassments, from urinating in a janitor's bucket to spitting on fans. The chaos spilled onto his Believe tour, where late starts and lackluster performances led to millions in potential refunds and severe damage to his reputation as a reliable performer. He was becoming a liability. The constant aggressive fights with paparazzi only fueled the fire, leading to more lawsuits and settlements. He had transformed from the world's sweetheart into a public enemy, a walking, talking PR disaster that was costing his own brand millions. Industry insiders whispered that Bieber had become uninsurable. Promoters demanded higher guarantees. Brands refused to sign him. The meltdown wasn't just chaos. It was a business crisis bleeding millions every month. He had lost the public's respect, and his fortune was leaking away. But the biggest financial crisis was yet to come, a direct result of the physical toll of his meltdown. Facing a ruined reputation and financial chaos, Justin's first attempt at redemption came in 2015 with the comeback album Purpose. It was a colossal success, but the Purpose World Tour that followed exposed the deep cracks that were still there. The machine was running at full speed again, and Justin couldn't keep up. Though he hadn't told the public about his illnesses yet, he was feeling the impact every single day.
I was really tired emotionally, physically. And I was sick, and I didn't realize I was sick. So I had Epstein-Barr, which is it's called mono. And then I have Lyme disease. So it was that. It was just, the exhaustion of just being on tour. And then it was just everything compounded, I think.
And so he did the unthinkable. He canceled the final 14 shows of his sold-out stadium tour. This was the first massive financial blow. Promoters were furious, fans were devastated, and the cost ran into the tens of millions. It was a choice between money and survival, and this was just the beginning of the bill his body would eventually collect. The years of relentless stress had done lasting damage. In 2022, he was diagnosed with Ramsay-Hunt syndrome, causing partial facial paralysis. This forced the catastrophic cancellation of his Justice World Tour, creating a new financial black hole as he reportedly owed promoters millions on advances he couldn't pay back. It was during this period of renewed crisis that he solidified his relationship with Hailey Baldwin, marrying her in 2018. While the marriage provided personal stability, the financial pressure was immense. This triggered a cash flow crisis. leading to a move that shocked the music world. At just 28 years old, Justin Bieber sold his entire 291-song catalog for $200 million. This wasn't a power move like Jay-Z or Bob Dylan. This was a bailout, a desperate act to generate immediate cash to cover the debts and financial chaos that were a direct, delayed consequence of his meltdown years earlier. Think about that. The boy who once printed money with every new hit was forced to sell his life's work before 30 just to stay afloat. What should have been his retirement nest egg became an emergency fire sale. The ultimate price of his meltdown wasn't just the millions he lost in lawsuits, tours, and endorsements. It was the future wealth he gave away in one desperate deal. And now, in 2025, Justin is attempting another comeback with his surprise new album, Swag. The album is being hailed as a creative triumph, his survival story set to music. But the industry is still packaging that same pain into a profitable new product. He may have bought his financial freedom, but the question remains, is he truly free? The story of Justin Bieber is a tragedy written in platinum albums and million-dollar lawsuits. His meltdown wasn't just bad behavior. It was a series of incredibly expensive mistakes that cost him his health, his reputation, and hundreds of millions of dollars. He survived, but the innocent boy from YouTube is gone forever, a casualty of a machine that profits from both the rise and the fall. The real tragedy? He paid the bill, but the industry that built and broke him simply moved on to the next child star. So what do you think? Can any child star truly survive this machine? Let me know who you hold responsible in the comments, and subscribe for more stories behind the fame. Thanks for watching.